Chelsea ke favor, it's just that nka se khone ho ipecha.
Fam, what's up? My name is Kevin. Welcome to Kevin News. So I'm here with, I know him as the great Lamini. So how are you? A student clinical psychologist.
Yes. Well, formally my name is Philani Dlamini, and yes, the credentials are on point.
Student psychologist.
Yes, student clinical psychologist at Sefako Mokhato Health Sciences University.
Okay. So today we are here to talk about social media persona, because you know a lot of people, they are not like, you meet them on social media, you meet them in real life, it's two different people. So we are here to talk about that. Let's start with this thing that is very popular on these bios. I am not my tweets.
Yeah.
How accurate is that? Wouldn't you say your tweets actually show us the things that you think? Show us the real you. Wouldn't you say that? So, I don't know. What's your take on that? I am not my tweets.
Well, I believe to a certain degree you are your tweets. It's just those negative ones that people try to distance themselves from. If you look at the origin of that statement, it comes from instances where people are having to account for certain tweets that they posted, and therefore they then resort to putting that disclaimer on their bio. But yes, it is true. I believe that you are your tweets, because your tweets are your thoughts, and your thoughts are your intellectual property. So therefore, you are your tweets in that manner.
So it's a lie. When someone says I'm not my tweet, they're lying. It's just they're running away from accountability.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, when you look at the legal implications from posting something that can get you, in a situation where you are, in contravention of the law, then obviously you're going to want to distance yourself from something like that. So sometimes it might not even be a lie as such. It's a way of protecting yourself.
Okay, does it really work? Just because you said I'm not my tweets, are people going to ignore it? Like, does it work? I don't know. Because I see people losing jobs, I see people losing things over social media. So I'm not my tweets, does that work?
I'm yet to see an instance where it has. Because that disclaimer, I'm not sure if it totally vindicates you from everything that you have said. You can say the most harmful things, but I mean, you can put that disclaimer there on your bio. But if you have said harmful things, you best expect that you will be held accountable for it, no matter how much you try to defend yourself with that sentence.
I also want to talk about cloud chasing. You know cloud?
Yeah.
This culture, cloud chasing, where people do things so that they trend. What's your take on it?
Cloud is very prevalent now. We are dealing with a lot of situations where people post things because they want to be retweeted a lot or liked a lot. But when you look at the fundamental values of cloud, it's a way of seeking for validation, a way of wanting people to pay attention to them. So you'll find, for an example, a person will post a tweet about something that is very upsetting, and then that person is not posting that just because they know in hindsight how much damage this might cause, but they still post it because it comes with social, what is it called?
Acceptance.
Social acceptance, yeah, but there's a term that I was looking for. But yeah, I'll go with social acceptance. It comes with this whole lot of attention from people that you don't even know. And that attention seems to be a reinforcing factor in people continuously displaying that type of.
So you are seeking, it's attention seeking.
Yeah, the word I was looking for is social capital.
Oh, yeah.
It comes with the social capital, the validation there comes as a sort of social capital. So when a person feels like when they post a bad tweet or something, in criticism of someone, and it gets 1,000 tweets, 1,000 retweets, and then they feel good about themselves, and it shows that maybe 1,000 people approve what you are saying, and therefore you should continue. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk in contrast to that about cancel culture. You know, we live in an age where cloud chasers sometimes go to these extremes, then they get cancelled.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't agree with this thing of cancelling people, but that's just me. What do you have to say about that, this cancel culture?
Well, I think cancel culture also has the social capital value that it comes with. Because now when you look at the social trends and you follow them and you get approval, obviously you're going to continue in it. So you find that maybe some celebrity posts something stupid, for an example, and then everyone is after them. So you realize that deviating from the sheep view is going to attract negative attention to you. So what do? You go with the flow, but then in that going with the flow, you probably add a bit more of the criticism. So my take on cancel culture is that sometimes there are times where I feel like it is necessary. For an example, you'll find that a person will knowingly post something that is. There's this saga with this recently married celebrity. I don't want to mention her name. She posted her pictures pregnant not so long, a couple of days ago, and she posted something about Bantu knots.
Bantu knots, keto.
Yeah. And that is a very emotional issue among us as black people. So to come in and just break and just decapitalize or demolish the whole build-up that has been made about black consciousness, you're obviously going to get some backlash there. And that backlash is probably going to end up becoming cancel culture at some point.
Are you saying had people cancelled the celebrity, you wouldn't disagree with it? You would support the cancelling?
I probably would support the cancelling, depending on the severity of the statement that they've made. Yeah.
So, which leads me to bullying, social, like cyber bullying. Don't you think cancel culture can be interpreted as bullying?
It definitely can. I mean, too much of anything is bad. So when it gets to a point now where, even after reprimanding the person and probably they acknowledge that they made a flop, and then you still, bring it up as a way of subduing them in whatever view that they have, long after whatever has happened, then it escalates into bullying, where you find now that people are, resorting into these social media mob type of responses. And it's never nice, really, and it never goes away. I mean, look at Anele, for an example. She posted about Kelly months ago. So even today, she's still living the repercussions of that, and it does get to a point where it starts becoming a bit of some bullying.
So the three, cloud, cancel culture, and bullying. How would you say? How do they have an impact? Like, what's their impact on our mental health?
Oh, there's an unlimited amount of implications there, because the same amount of people that like a person for posting cloud, let's say 15,000 people like a certain tweet that has been posted about you that makes you feel bad. So on the one hand, you have the poster who's getting 15,000 validations, and on the other hand, you have the person who's being posted about, who's receiving 15,000 agreements of, verification of the criticism that they are facing. So it's like 15,000 approve of this, but 15,000 on the receiving end hate me. So we as human beings are social beings. We derive most of our mental health from the relationships that we have with other people, even though we don't know them in person. So now, you can imagine when you are a social being deriving all this, this health from 15,000 people just talking nonsense about you. That's obviously going to impact you, and it's going to impact you in a way that you're going to start to present with maybe some depressive symptoms and anxiety most of the time, social anxiety, because you'll probably start holding back from engaging more because you are afraid of attracting so much attention. So in a nutshell, social media bullying and clout and the list is endless. They have a lot of implications for our mental health, and it is something worth to be looked at in terms of research and in terms of looking at other variables that influence it.
So you mentioned, let's use anxiety. So we can say having a social media account is a risk factor for anxiety.
It is.
So okay, we've been talking about these negative things about social media. I wanted to go to the benefits. Like how can social media benefit?
Recently, we are seeing a boom in the social media influencer status. This is where, because I've been a long time on Twitter, 10 years now, and we didn't have that before, but now we are, and we are seeing more and more people getting opportunities through their engagements on social media. So that is one of the best benefits that I've seen so far. But over and above that, socially, there are many friendships that occur on Twitter, especially, and other social media. But there are friendships that you can derive from your engagements there. There are spaces where you can share common issues. I've seen spaces where you can share issues about mental health. People sharing how you can survive, anxiety, how you can survive even job interview anxiety. So there's a lot of interaction there, and there's a lot to derive from that interaction that is actually good for us in the long run.
Okay. So there's I guess it also contributes to the disadvantage, the pressure, social media pressure. Would you say in some instances it's motivational, this pressure, or is it just only bad things about it?
I think to a certain degree it has the bad connotations about it here and there, because you all feel like, when certain people are posting about the successes of their lives, it feels like they are bragging, But there are, people take things differently. So we perceive people's actions differently. So one person might perceive it as a brag, the other might perceive it as motivation. I, for an example, post tweets about, some of the things that I've achieved, and people will get motivated. People will look at you as a source of inspiration, and that talks to the motivational part, because where you are, many people aspire to be. So those people that aspire to be where you are will obviously look up to you. Some of them will actually take it to a point of inboxing you and asking for more information about how. But I think it goes both ways. You can be motivated, you can be demotivated.
So it depends on how you are taking it.
Yes.
This flex.
Yes, it definitely depends on your view and your perception of what is going on, and also what do you take from it.
So with what we have right now, what we're just saying right now, someone doesn't have social media, they don't know anything about social media. Given the advantages and the disadvantages, how would you advise that person?
Twitter doesn't, I talk about Twitter so much because I'm mostly active there. Social media, I would say, it's good for you for an example. Well, not an example, especially for the youth. I think it's good, even if you are not active, but it's good that you are exposed to what happens on social media, because we catch a lot of things before they happen in the news. Sometimes most of what you see in the news, most of what you see on Twitter, you won't see in the news. So therefore, it's important that you are exposed to some of this. And if there's always a way to control the type of feed that you have in terms of the people that you follow. So the negative part, the bad part, you can always minimize it by following accounts that are conducive to your growth, accounts that are more helpful, accounts that you can derive motivation from, as opposed to accounts that are usually involved in bullying and tearing people down and just subduing people, which is obviously going to impact you in a bad way. So go for the accounts that will build you as opposed to the accounts that will break you.
Okay, that's all we have for today. Thank you very much. That was a nice interview. I felt like I'm being interviewed. I enjoyed this interview.
Yeah.
Comment, like, subscribe. Follow him on Twitter. What's your
Twitter.
handle?
My handle is at @p/, PHISLASH, and on Instagram it's at @p/101.
Thank you very much, sir.
Away.
What's up?